Now, before we get into this video, I am recording this portion after I've already recorded the main portion. Unfortunately, I am very tired. I did wake up very early today, so I may not sound like I am in higher spirits or in highest energy. I am still going through my situation that I explained before, but as you guys can tell, I uploaded yesterday and I'm uploading today again. So if this is not a sign that I am back and that the Shoe Gang is going to be back on top eventually, then I don't know what is. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're just going to be discussing the DMC 5X PGR crossover and whether or not it delivered. So I'm going to send you on over to Pastor Gashu and I'll see you guys later. Alright, ladies and gents, I'm going to be taking the suit off for the time being and just overall talking to you guys about Punishing Gray Raven and the Devil May Cry 5 crossover. Now, as you guys know, if you've watched some of my other videos, obviously I've fallen out of the algorithm, so I have to crawl my way out like I'm fucking Kratos trying to get out of hell again. However, I did want to take the time to talk about the end of the crossover for PGR x DMC 5. Unfortunately, I was not able to play it as much as I wanted, but I was able to play a good amount of the events. I was able to have fun with the boss fights, I was able to achieve the characters, and I was also able to experience the story all the way through. Now, I'm going to be talking about whether or not this crossover actually did what a lot of people was hoping that it would do, and overall be a great experience, a good time, and be a crossover that could be recommended to being something akin to crossover of the year or something. And now, as someone who was waiting a very long time for this, I gotta say, I'm not disappointed. Now, obviously, there are some things that I did wish were introduced in the crossover in general. I wasn't able to see what later updates happened for the latter half of the crossover because of obvious reasons, but I will say this, it was very enjoyable, it was very fun, and I don't think that it underdelivered. I don't think that it necessarily over-delivered. I do actually think that it did exceed expectations. Let me not misspeak here. However, I don't think that it was something where it's like, this is the all-time greatest thing in the history of the world. Obviously not, but I think that this was very excellent. Now, obviously, I want to talk about the pros. Dante and Virgil were amazing in this crossover, and I'm really sad to see that they're gone now. And I'm really hoping, just like what happened with Nier Automata, that we do get another Devil May Cry crossover. And in that crossover, I hope that we get characters that other people wanted to see within the crossovers itself. Now, obviously, during the time of PGR x DMC 5, we weren't able to see Nero because unfortunately, Nero was he was doing a crossover with another game, and well, let's just say it didn't exactly go too well. As for Trish and Lady, obviously they weren't a part of the crossover, at least to my knowledge. Like I said, I don't know if they suddenly added them. I feel like I would have seen them everywhere all over Twitter and YouTube if they did, but maybe next time if they do another rerun of this crossover, we get people like Trish and Lady and a whole bunch of other potential Easter eggs and references and stuff. Maybe we might even get Rebellion as a 4-star or 5-star weapon. Who knows? Now, as for the story, I thought that the story was very engaging. It was very fun. Some of the levels that I played through did genuinely feel like I was playing a DMC 5 map. And yes, while somebody can bring up the argument, well, if you want to see Dante and Virgil in a good story and go through DMC 5 type of levels, then obviously you would go play DMC 5. But for a free alternative, this crossover was very well done. The boss was amazing to fight because it's literally Virgil. And also, speaking of the stories, I really do like how they handled Dante's character, especially seeing Virgil's character development after 5 and seeing him be more friendly towards his brother, seeing him be a bit more understanding about the environment and situation around him, whilst also not being a super duper edgelord. He's still being an edgelord, but not being a super duper edgelord. I also love the fact that Dante's blunt forwardness, his honesty was very prevalent when it came to talking to the Grey Raven Commandant, and I love in one of their interactions, Dante just took one good look around the world and he said, yeah, this place is doomed. Now, obviously, he's been through a lot of stuff. He's been in hell. He's been on Mallet Island. He's watched Redgrave City get completely destroyed and almost 70% of its denizens get assimilated into a Clive-Off tree. And yet, when he looks around in the world of Punishing Gray Raven, he's like, yeah, Chief, I'm not gonna lie to you, this place is horse shit, alright? This is some grade A fucking donkey cock. This is exactly what the fuck that is. And I just absolutely fell in love with that. And there's a lot of really interesting moments like that that happen throughout the story that I really appreciated. But anyways, and while there are some people that are complaining about the fact that the crossover characters were too true to themselves and too accurate to the game to be impressed by, because people felt like all they really did was copy and paste the characters and their movesets into the crossover, but I wouldn't expect anything less. Seeing Dante and Virgil being as accurate as they were, seeing abilities and combos that I was so used to doing back when I played DMC 5 religiously, seeing all of these things and getting the original English voice actors from DMC 5 to be able to reprise their roles in this crossover, well, I mean, you really can't go wrong with these sorts of things. I will never fully understand the argument of, well, there's no difference between the actual real gamer characters and the crossover characters. It's so boring that it's literally just the characters from DMC 5. It's the same moveset, yada yada yada. And I sit here and I kind of wonder to myself, well, obviously, people will like originality, they will like to see if Kuro Games would build something new, but I don't think they wanted to risk having this new moveset built up from scratch, having to send it on through Capcom to see if they were actually going to approve of these changes, these things that they wanted to add. I think that adding their genuine, true selves was the play. I feel like that was the way to go. I did save up a good amount of black cards, and I did end up getting several copies of the characters, and unfortunately I wasn't able to get the 6-star weapons, but I was able to get their cubs. The crossover offered a lot of great things and a lot of great experiences, and everything that I was hoping for in my videos building up to the crossover, those hopes were indeed met. For the exception of Nero showing up, of course. Seeing the interactions between Alpha and Virgil, seeing the way Dante was talking about the world, seeing the way everything was being presented to us, it just felt great. I knew that the Punishing Virus was going to end up creating some kind of hetero demons and stuff like that. I knew that we were going to have to deal with Punishing Virus nonsense mixed in with some demon nonsense. And I'm really glad that they ended up going these routes, because that was a very entertaining concept and a very fun concept to play around with. I love that one of the missions had a little bit of a secret ending where you could see Alpha sitting in Virgil's plastic chair. I actually find it so amazing that a meme, a stupid meme at that, of Virgil just sitting in a plastic chair was just so loved and recognized by even the companies and creators and the mass community itself, that it's appeared in things like games and other stuff like that. It's just really funny to see. I thought that all of the free stuff that we got, like the free Elisa Echo coding, was really great. And honestly, I feel like something that could have gotten Kuro Games even more money that I felt like was missing was maybe they could have gotten Dante and Virgil some codings, maybe some DMC 4 style codings, maybe some DMC 3 style codings. Being able to play the characters in different styles would be great, but I suppose it wouldn't exactly be just strictly a DMC 5x PGR crossover. At that point, it would just be DMC in general crossing over with Punishing Grey Raven. I do enjoy the fact that Dante and Virgil are very fun, they are very strong, and I do enjoy the fact that I was able to get characters that work well with them so that my DMC teams will be able to continue to do Warzone rather easily, rather than me only having my favorites. Obviously, I don't really do Warzone too much because I'm not really worried about making the most optimized teams. As long as I can play Crimson Weave and the Brothers, I'm perfectly content. But yeah, overall, I really did feel like DMC x PGR delivered. I'm looking forward to seeing what else Kuro Games might be able to do in the future. I hope that they'll be able to get Devil May Cry back. I hope that there will be a rerun. I know that there were people that ended up missing out on doing this, whether it's because they didn't have proper systems to be able to run the game in general, or if unfortunately they had to deal with similar situations to myself where we weren't able to enjoy the game because of some personal life issues. But overall, I'd say this crossover, as I mentioned before, was a solid, a very solid, even a high 8 out of 10. I even want to say 9 out of 10 for all of the Virgil combos that I was seeing all over YouTube and Twitter for PGR. And also, another part of me that wants to make it a 9 out of 10 is the fact that the DMC community seemed to really enjoy what it was that Kuro Games was able to deliver to them in this free experience of a crossover. I loved that the pulls were discounted. I loved that they gave you a free copy of the character when you pulled them, and that could happen 2 times. It was all just Very excellent, very excellently executed, very well done. But I want to know what you guys thought of the crossover, and do you think that the Cyberpunk crossover will be able to supersede or meet the expectations that people may have? Hopefully they'll put the same amount of passion and dedication behind the crossover in the future for Wuthering Waves, but I am overall satisfied. I'd love to have this discussion with you guys in the comment section below, and I also want to apologize if I sound a little tired. I did wake up very, very early today, and I've been up all this time, and I'm also going to be remaining to stay up because there are certain responsibilities that I have to do in my real life. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and as you can see, back-to-back uploads, a beautiful thing. But I want you all to take care, and peace.